So Dwarka Leela, Mathura Leela, Braj Leela, Bhujanandandan, Shama Sundar, Mathuresh Krishna, Dwarkadesh Krishna. Who has this understanding? Even nowadays you ask anyone, they will not be able to tell you. What is the difference? But those who take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the line of Rupa Goswami, they can understand. Especially Gurudev. In the current age, without taking shelter of the teachings of Gurudev, you cannot understand this fact at all. No one knew this thing. No one understood the teachings of Rupa Goswami. No one even knew what it means to be a Rupa Nuga. What are the specialities of Rupa Goswami's line? What is his contribution? No one would understand these things. In the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the first sentence of that book, he writes that the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Rupa Goswami. But how many people, we've read this book 1,000 times, but how many people notice these things there? The very first line of that book, in his preface, it says, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Rupa Goswami. So, and originally I think it was in the Nectar of Devotion or Nectar of Instruction, I think in the later editions when the word Raganuga came and the word Rupanuga came, and they changed it all to, I think, Raganuga, they mixed it all up. They couldn't understand what is the difference between these two conceptions. So, Gurudev described what is the difference between Raganuga and what is Rupanuga. And described all the specialities of Rupa Goswami. Braj Leela, Mathura Leela, Krishna Leela, all these things, very, very nicely. And people, they began to have a glimpse and understanding of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings of Rupa Goswami. See that not all Rupanugas, not all Raganugas are Rupanugas, but all Rupanugas are Raganugas. Gurudev would say this thing. Why? Because Raganuga means that you are following any Ragatmik Vasi in Braj. You're following in the footsteps of that Ragatmik Vasi, then you are known as Raganuga. But Rupanuga means that you are following not only any Ragatmik Vasi, but Rupa Manjari. You have to follow in her footsteps. Externally you are following Rupa Goswami, and internally you are following Rupa Manjari. So Rupa Manjari is Ragatmik. So automatically by following Rupa Manjari and Rupa Goswami, you are Raganuga. But if you are following Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mata, Sridham Subram, then you are not a Rupanuga. Because you are not following Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari. Externally you may be taking shelter of the teaching of Rupa Goswami, that is fine. But until you follow Rupa Goswami internally also, as Rupa Manjari, then you are not a Rupanuga. Therefore, those who say that Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada is in Sakya Rasa and that he is a Rupanuga, then he is wrong. They are wrong in that sense. He cannot be in Sakya Rasa and be a Rupanuga at the same time. Because Rupanuga means to follow Rupa Manjari internally. And externally follow Rupa Goswami. It's not enough just to follow externally. You have to follow internally also. Then you are a Rupanuga. Therefore I said that Seva Sadaka Rupena Siddha Rupena Chatri. Tat Bhava Lipsna Karya Brother Lok Anusarada. In your Sadak Deha you follow, and in your Siddha Deha you follow. Then you are actually following. Then you are then this is the process of following the path of Raganuga Bhajan. Krishna Smanam Janam Chasya Prashda Nija Samihitam Tat Kata Radas Chasau Kuryam Vasat Vijayasada. You meditate on any specific path, Ragatmik Parikar, whom you are inspired to be. And hear their Katha in association with Krishna and follow in their footsteps. Then, this is how Raganuga Bhajan is performed. Then Shravanat Kirtanadari Vaidhi Bhakti Uditanito. Then Yatra Angani Chaitanyatra Vigyaya Mahimishibi. But at the same time, the Raganuga Sadhak, he will also be very careful to maintain and follow all the angas of Vaidhi Bhakti, external angas like Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, etc. So these Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in revealing and describing the teachings of Rupa Goswami, he has taking these three verses from Bhakti Rasamrita and describe it. These are actually, these three verses describe the process of Raganuga Bhajan. So, but if you want to be a Rupanuga, then these three verses have to be applied to Rupa Manjari and Rupa Goswami. You have to follow in their footsteps. Then you are Rupanuga. And that makes you automatically a Raganuga also. But if you don't internally follow Rupa Manjari, not following the footsteps, take shelter of that Manjari Bhav, then you are not a Rupanuga. You are a Raganuga but not a Rupanuga. Externally just not enough to follow the teachings of Rupa Goswami to become a Rupanuga. You have to completely follow him. Samyak Rupena Anugamana. In all ways you should follow. That is the definition of Sangha. Sangha means Samyak Rupena Anugamana, to completely follow. Internally and externally. Then you are following in his footsteps, the true sense. Otherwise not. So Srila Gurudev have explained all of these things.